Many people know about the Tesla Powerwall you can get for your house, but what if you could get something similar for your RV? And it was about as easy as this to set up. So if you've been following along with me, you know I'm fixing up this Class A RV, and in this video, this thing is gonna get a huge electrical update. For example, this is the original AC inverter from 1998. I found it laying in the compartments down below. This thing is getting tossed as well as some other components, and I'm replacing it with this complete 10 kilowatt hour LFP battery system that so far I've been wheeling around in a hand truck to fill up the tanks with my backyard solar farm made of broken solar panels. Now, when I've seen other people add a battery system either for their off-grid cabin or their RVs, it can get pretty complicated with lots of wires, connections, and individual devices to manage everything. So what I'm putting in is a kit that is literally a plug-and-play off-grid system. This is EcoFlow's new power kit that they sent me, and after I got everything out of the boxes, it took me about 2 minutes to get it onto this cart and get everything running. This thing was super easy to set up, but I'm going to face a few challenges installing it into this RV. So there are two particular challenges. First is that this system outputs 30 amps AC on 120 volts, but my RV expects 50 amps and two 120 volt lines. And the other challenge is where to locate this system. You can see here that this electrical bay isn't big enough to fit everything, so I'm going to have to find a spot where I can put all the components and figure out how to run the wires. Now I'm planning to leave as much here as possible because it's less work and I can keep all my electrical options open for now, though I might reconfigure things in the future. So this is the main brains to the whole kit. This is the power hub. This is the one device that takes place of many other devices in an off-grid system or an RV system. And what I like about this is that it really is plug and play. You don't have to worry about DC to DC conversions, installing an AC inverter, wires, and that kind of stuff. It all comes with the cables, and literally you just plug them in down here or on the side. And for the other end of the wires, if you can wire an outlet in your home, I bet you can install this entire off-grid system yourself. So my current plan is to take the power hub here and put it up against this wall and take these two LFP batteries and put them inside. I had mentioned a Powerwall for your RV. This system can handle up to 3 of these guys for a total of 15 kilowatt hours because they're 5 kilowatt hours each. And a typical Powerwall is about 13.5 kilowatt hours. So with 3 of these, you can actually get more than that. Now, in my situation, I only have 10 kilowatt hours of batteries here, and I don't want to be outdone by Elon. So I have an ace up my sleeve over here. And it's this, with a full tank of gas in this EcoFlow smart generator, which can talk to the power hub. I can expect about 5 kilowatt hours of energy out of this, and I've got 10 over here, so that's a total of about 15 kilowatt hours of storage capacity between all of this. And another thing that's great about this system is that you don't need an electrician, you don't need special permission, you just buy it, plug things in, and turn it on. So when I was first thinking about where to put things, I wasn't quite sure where to put the batteries. Obviously they don't fit in this little compartment here, so I was hoping they could fit up above, but I didn't know what was up there. And these cables here that go to the batteries, they're super high quality and nice, but they're only 1.5 meters long, or a little bit under 5 feet. And so I was studying things in here and I saw, hey, look at these wires. They go somewhere. Then I went inside the RV in the back bedroom above the electrical bay, and I noticed the floor was raised on this cabinetry. And so when I pried up the floorboard, I was happy to see the wires, which meant I could put the batteries in here and then fish the wires down to the power hub. So I cut off some of the carpet to see how to run the wires, and in the process discovered that a mouse had chewed off the insulation on one of the wires. Thankfully the hot wire was untouched, but I'm glad I found it and was able to take care of it. Now when I measured the distance from where the batteries would go to the power hub, it was about the length of the battery cable, so I was really hoping it would reach.
I think I'm trying to give birth to a wire. There it is. Gotcha. All right, so both battery cables are out now.
So because of these wires on the floor, I decided to make a small platform so that a battery could be in the space and not crush the wires. And because I was at the maximum reach of the cables, I had to turn this one so the connector was as close to the floor as possible. These batteries are not only 5 kilowatt hours each, they also have a built-in BMS and automatic self-heating, so you can use them down to -4 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm kind of amazed that both of them fit perfectly in this space with enough room in the middle for the battery cables and the Ethernet for the remote touchscreen. So EcoFlow gives you this really nice mounting kit for each battery, but I'm not sure yet how I want to finish this closet space.
This is fun.
With the whole kit comes every screw that you need. You can see it's even labeled here handily for Power Kit console. So this lines up perfectly to the back of the display, so I don't really have to think about where to put this. It's just where do I want to put the display? And I know I want to put it right in this corner. I'm making sure the Ethernet cable is facing the right way when I screw this in. The touchscreen is powered by the Ethernet cable, so that's the only thing we have to plug in. So after the batteries and the remote touchscreen are in, it's time to install the power hub. Now I really tried hard to figure out how to mount this thing horizontally, but there really wasn't a good option for me. And with all the electrical stuff here, plus wanting to use a gas generator, and that I didn't want to fish any more wires through that tight spot on the floor, I made a small platform and secured it on its side. And I made sure to leave adequate room for ventilation so the unit doesn't overheat, and the platform helps get more air around it and to give a little bit more slack to the battery cables. So I mentioned that I need to figure out how to get two 120 volt lines because my existing panel is wired for 2 lines. So my solution, at least for now, was to wire in a 30 amp RV outlet. My hope is to keep the current electrical options in the RV and then integrate the power kit into it. So with the power hub feeding this RV outlet, I can use a dog bone adapter that splits the 120 volt line into 2. And with this adapter, I can use the original shore power plug when 50 amp service is available. And besides not having to mess with the transfer switch, I can also say that during a power outage, I can plug my house into my RV. So I got the power hub installed, the batteries are situated, the screen is all set up, and the power hub is running. And you can see here on my phone, both batteries are connected, and I'm talking to the power hub by Bluetooth, by the way, because I shut off Wi-Fi, and it works just fine. Both batteries are here. You can see they're at 99%, and I have the smart generator hooked in up here. The smart generator runs on gas. It's pretty cool. You could use it as a standalone generator, but it's even better when it talks with other EcoFlow products. So like this. So I could use the app to start it up and control it, but I could also start it with the push of a button. Watch this. Sometimes it takes a start or two. Hey, second try. So the gas generator is on number 1 port, and the 2 batteries are on port 2 and 3. You can see they're almost at 100%, and you can hear the gas generator even slowing down because the power hub is communicating with it. As you can see, this one just went to 100%, and this one is almost at 100%. Oh, there it goes. So it just went to 100%. And if you can hear outside, but the gas generator just shut off. And so the power hub recognized that both batteries went to 100%, and it communicated to the gas generator, and the gas generator automatically shut off. So not only can you use the gas generator, you can charge it up with up to 3,000 watts of solar. When I had it hooked up to my solar panels, there was no issue getting about 1.5 kilowatts of power, and I was only using one of the 3 solar inputs. The power hub can also charge by your alternator and the power grid. I'm planning to wire these in later in addition to adding solar panels to the roof, so stay tuned for that video. Another thing that might make it into a future video is this smart panel. This came with the kit, and it's meant to be used as your main service panel. This thing can talk to the power hub, and you can monitor and manage many individual circuits. Now what I did was take the AC and DC output from the power hub and tied it into the existing wiring in the RV. So with the power kit installed in the RV, it's time to plug in the dog bone and test out the power hub. After seeing all the lights come on and no issues, I first wanted to see if it could power one of the 13,500 BTU air conditioners that are up on the roof. So with the air conditioning running, you can see it's pulling about 1.2 kilowatts of power. These air conditioners have a huge current demand when the compressor starts. The power inverter can handle up to a 60 amp surge, so it had no problem starting one air conditioner, but I was really curious if it could start the second one while the first one was running. So there are 2 rooftop air conditioners up there, and unfortunately, I just ran a test. I can only do one at a time, because when I try to run the compressor on one and then start up the other one, something goes haywire and makes a bunch of noise. I think it's the auto transformer that is having a problem with the amperage. I'm not exactly sure because I think the power hub surge could take care of it. It's something I'm going to look into further and see if I can do something to try to get both air conditioners to run at the same time. So next I wanted to do a full load test on the inverter and see how long it would last. So the TV is running, the air conditioner is running. How much power are we using? Almost 1.5 kilowatts. Let me turn on the vacuum cleaner. So that's running. So we're at 2.5 kilowatts. Let's see what else we can turn on. Okay, a roundup of everything that's running right now. You can hear the vacuum cleaner in the background. I've got the Delta Mini charging at 800 watts. I've got a fan going, maybe that's about 50 watts. I have the fan going up here, not the AC. I have the air conditioner on this one up here going. You can hear the fan. I've got this TV on right here, and you can see we're pulling about 3.6 kilowatts, so that's about 30 amps coming out of the batteries. And you can see it's down to 91%, and it can run like this at full capacity, 2 hours and 12 minutes. That's pretty amazing. Now you might be wondering if I'm getting into trouble running this RV with only 30 amps. There is some limitation, right? I can run more devices at the same time on 50 amps than 30, but there's nothing in here that runs on 240 volts. And the truth is that the battery capacity is the same. So even if I had 50 amps to draw from, I would still have to be very careful what devices I'm running so that I can make the battery last as long as possible until I get a chance to recharge it. So now I have a 10 kilowatt hour off-grid battery system in this RV. It didn't take that long to set up. Actually, the majority of the time was spent on trying to figure out and set up where everything would go and running the wires. So I'm pumped to try it out more and add solar panels. Check the video description for information on the power kit. I'll keep it updated with any deals or specials. And if you want to see an update on how my home solar DIY installation is going, check that out here. And finally, thank you to EcoFlow for sending me their latest power kit.